love that we all come together to support one another to help really drive and boost the industry that we are in. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our second webinar of the day. I'm here with Polly Williams, Managing Director at TishTash PR in Dubai. Hi, Polly. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Emma. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Today, Polly will be talking you through some top marketing and PR tips to ensure your brands get maximum exposure post-COVID-19. So for those of you who's joined us today on the webinar, Polly will take us through a lovely presentation, and then at the end, there will be the opportunity to ask her any questions you may have. Please use the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and then I will take you through those questions at the end of the session. So, Polly, I will stop sharing my video and over to you.
Great, thank you, Emma. Let me just share my screen with you all. Bear with me, I'm new to all of this. Okay, so I've put a few slides together today just to really give us all some kind of tips and tricks on things that we can be doing now and things that we should be doing post COVID-19 for our marketing and PR. Clicking through. So when we think about our marketing and PR, of course, we want to have as much information as possible about what it is that we are trying to achieve. Data always helps, and information is always key. However, when we look at the post-COVID-19 marketplace, we genuinely have no idea at what we're looking at. This is unprecedented times for everybody. And so we are kind of starting from a completely new normal. But what we can do is look at some of the things that have affected people when there's been other economic downturns, which we are inevitably going into, and see how we can use these facts to help inform our PR and marketing kind of post-COVID-19, but even now as well. So we know, realistically, the majority of people are going to have less disposable income. People are going to be more cautious with their money, but at the same time, people are still going to be craving human contact. Everyone's missing that deeply, and you can see that in the way that people are using social media even more than they were before. And also there's going to be less global travel, at least for a while. And as we enter the summer here, and we're used to so many people in the UAE moving away for the summer for months and months at a time, that probably isn't going to be the reality this year, which does open up some good opportunities. So why are we here today? Why have you decided to join this webinar? Well, the reality is your reputation is one of the most important assets that you have for your business. It comes from what you do, what you say about yourselves, and what others are saying about you as well. And during a downturn, most or a lot of companies will look at their budgets and they'll look at their marketing and PR budget, and it will be one of the first that gets taken away or at least reduced. The reality is, when you look at statistics, they do show that if you continue investing in marketing and PR, that you will actually see positive results, and it can really benefit your business. So when you can continue to look at your marketing and your PR during any kind of downturn, you are keeping your name at the forefront of people's minds. You are keeping people engaged, you're giving people relevant information, and they will remember you. And in turn, you're building trust with your audience at a time when they need trust and they need credibility more than ever before. So it really is a great opportunity. So even though people might be scaling back on their marketing spends and you might be thinking about how to reallocate budgets, it's really important to think about how you can use this time to market yourselves either in the same way that you've been doing before or differently, looking at how people are being affected by what's going on in the market. So what I want to give to you today is, it says 10 tips, but I think there's actually only 8, so apologies for that, for making the most of your PR and your marketing now. So what can you be doing right now to be prepared for when you reopen your doors? And also, how can you keep building on your brand and get new customers and build on the momentum that hopefully you can get now while people are kind of in their homes consuming media more than ever. So if we get started with the top tips. So I guess my first question for you guys is, do you have a marketing plan already? And if not, why not? Because it's really important that you have something written down on paper that create the foundation of what it is that you want to achieve from a marketing and PR perspective. So some questions to always think about when you're putting a plan together. What are your brand and marketing objectives? What is it that you want to achieve from a brand point of view, but also from a marketing point of view as well? What does success look like to you? What is the overall result? Now, of course, bottom line for everyone is sales. We know that, but there are other things that you need to think about before you can even be thinking about sales when it comes to marketing. Is it brand awareness? Have you had any issues in the past that you want to spend some time trying to rework and put more positive spin on something? Is there a particular product that you've launched that's been affected by what's happened in the market that you need to put specific focus on for a while? Think about what your overall achievement needs to be, and then chunk your plan down into quarters. Look at kind of a 3-month, a 6-month plan. If you already have a plan, which I hope most of you have a version of the plan, it's important right now to go back and look at that plan. Too many times everyone is like, oh, I had a plan, I looked at it last year, but I haven't looked at it since. The world is changing every day at the moment, and the reality is your plan will have to change in line with that. So think about how your PR and marketing goals have changed since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic versus today. So as we said, is there a particular product that you're going to really need to have to drive when you reopen because you've just got new stock or it's a new launch? Do you have something that you've begun to feel really passionate about since all of this happened? Is there something that you can kind of use your platforms to talk about that will really help your business and put you at the forefront of a particular issue? Is it time for you to focus on your own personal brand, which I'll come to later, but we hear so much about people saying, oh, I know I should look at my own personal brand, but I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to put myself out there, but I know I should. Let me tell you, now is the time to do that if you want to, and even if you don't want to, make sure someone pushes you to do that. Will you be looking for investment after all of this? Is that something that you're going to need to do? And credibility for investment is really important. Having strong marketing and PR that you can show people, show investors, goes a long, long way. So just have a thought about how your goals may have changed over the last couple of months, and make sure you've put those into your plan. I guess part of the making a plan is understanding what you as a salon or spa stand for as a business. What are your USPs and what keeps you apart from the competition?
Hi guys, sorry, it seems that we've lost connection. So we're just trying to message Polly to see what's happened, but bear with us. Technology is an amazing thing when it works. And yes, Paris, it has frozen. We're going to try and get Polly back in the room. Any questions, please pop your questions into the Q&A box, and we will obviously ask these at the end. Polly is trying to get back online. So yeah, just to give you a bit of an update, this week's been, we're back to back with webinars all week. This is our second day. After this session, David Barnett will be on at 3:30 p.m. to talk about how you can come back stronger and more sustainable as a business. So he's on at 3:30. We have tomorrow, we've got morning yoga again with Hayley, which was very popular for those of you who want to start your morning in an active way. So that's at 9:30 tomorrow, followed by Q&A with Patrick Cameron at 1:30, who is obviously very renowned around the world for his bridal updos and styling. So he will be on live at 1:30, followed by Ben Brown, who was very popular at Professional Beauty this year, who is going to be demonstrating live his precision cutting course. So that's 3:30. And then on Thursday, we have the community, so Maria Dowling, Riksha Malik, Shabana Kareem, Anthony Walsh, Tara Rose, Tara Kidd from Tara Rose, and Galina Spilling. They'll all be online talking about what changes have been made during COVID-19 to their salon. This panel were actually live at our beauty conference this year, and they obviously spoke about challenges that they were facing, or looking to the future, what challenges they'd be having as a salon owner. And obviously since Professional Beauty, which was in February, there's obviously been a lot of changes. So join them at 10:30. We've got Jean-Luca, who is from the Davines artistic team. He will also be doing a live demonstration, hoping that technology doesn't get in our way, but I'm sure it won't. And then Nergish Wadia Austin is our final webinar of the week at 3:30. Oh, Polly, I think she's returned. Sorry about that, everybody. Thank you for your patience. Let's see. Polly, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Back. Fabulous.
Great. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, don't apologise. I'm glad you're back in the room. Okay, I will leave you to it.
Okay, I think this is where I got to. So talking about your messaging and what it is that you stand for. So when you look at your key messages, it should be a clear, concise description of the points that you're trying to make as a brand. So you should have no more than 3 messages, and your key messages should be brief and memorable. They should also sound natural. So just part of any conversation, you can slip them into conversation and it feels effortless. So when you're thinking about putting together your key messaging, and again, this is really about what you stand for as a business, what sets you apart, what is it that you want people to remember about you. This is a very kind of simplified version of how you would create a brand message. And I've kind of put the more complicated version below so you can have a look at it. But to put it simply, you need to start with a key statement. This is your brand value. What is the one thing that you want people to remember you for? What is your catchphrase? This needs to be simple, direct, and easy to understand, and credible for what it is you actually stand for. And then in order for that to work, you need to have proof points. So what is the proof behind the pudding, as they would say? So what's the thing that really kind of hinges on your statement? This needs to be factual. It needs to be easy for you to reference if people were to question you, and it should be based on real truth that you want people to know about you as a brand. And then you need an example. So again, your proof point needs to be backed up by a clear example. So just as a very simple, easy example, that a brand that everybody knows, if we look at Nike, their statement is just do it. That's what they want everyone to remember about them, that is what they're passionate about, getting people doing exercise, just do it.
And their proof point for that is they're number one in the market. So they have the proof that just doing it works. And the example for that is that their brands are worn by the fastest athletes in across the globe. So just doing it is worn by the fastest athletes. So it does work, and that's the proof behind the statement. So it's a very simple version. And if we go on to the next slide, you can see here, this is a more complicated way of kind of looking at it, but it drills down a little bit more. And I would really recommend that if you are at home, that you have a Zoom call with your team, or if you are a one-man band when it comes to this part of the business, it's definitely worth sitting with your partner, your children, whoever it might be, and hash these things out, because really talking about what your brand stands for or what you want it to stand for, where it sits within the market, what your USPs could be, is really important for getting people to trust your brand, and for people to believe you. And being a believable brand is really a big part of the battle. So I think this is going to get sent to you guys anyway, so you can have a look at it, but this is a really good way of kind of really detailing out what it is that you want to stand for, so that you can get to your primary message, your key message, and then you'll have those 3 pillars underneath, which are your proof points, and then the call to action that you want everyone to go through in order to book an appointment with you, or you know, have services with you. So I'm sure this has been talked about a lot throughout these webinars that Professional Beauty are hosting, but Instagram really does need to become your new best friend. Media consumption online has increased by 60% in the past month. That is massive, and all because of the fact that people are at home and are just desperate for content, for information, more so than ever. So it's essential that we capitalize on this now and keep your audience engaged. The truth is, we are at home, we do have more time, there is less stress thinking about some of the operational things. So this is the time to sit back and really analyse and rethink what you've been doing in your marketing and your PR, and social media is such an important part of that. So if we go back to basics when it comes to your Instagram, you have to start by creating the perfect biography, the bit that sits at the top of your Instagram page. So I've taken 2 examples here. One is a hair salon or a beauty salon in the US, and one is a beauty brand that we all know. But if we look at both of them, there are some clear things here. It's clear what the brand name is, what it is that they want to stand for, and contact information. Those are the key things. You would not believe the number of Instagram pages that we've worked on in the past where there isn't even a way of contacting the salon or spa, which is what people want to do and what you want people to do. So it's essential that that information is so easy for them for customers to have access to within a click. So it needs to be a very cool, clear call to action, and a clear kind of way of getting in touch with you and what it is that you stand for. So if you look at Glossier, it's people-powered beauty. That's what they're all about. If you look at this hair salon, the fact is it's founded by 3 sisters, and that's their USP, that each sister has got a different stake in a different part of the business. So what is it that you stand for? Make that very short and very clear so that you kind of stand apart from the rest, and make sure the information in your bio is really clear and easy for people to access and to get in touch with you and to book services. The next thing is to produce interesting content. Of course, we all want to produce interesting content, but at this time, we have to also remember that everyone is at home. It's okay that we're all at home. It's okay that nothing is working as perfectly as it should. So think about being authentic. Use this time to really build your authenticity. Interesting content might be that if you're a hair salon, that you've got one of your colorists doing colouring on her husband's hair, or on her, older daughter's hair, or whatever it might be, experimenting, getting people to use IGTV, create content that you haven't had time to create before. Practice getting some flat lays with some of the products that you've got lying around that you want to kind of promote. It's a time to experiment and to try, and it's a real opportunity to put different kind of content together. And of course, I'm sure lots of you know, there's some really great tools out there to help you. Canva is a great tool. And also when you're planning your Instagram, Planoly is something that we use. It's relatively inexpensive for businesses, and it's a great way of being able to schedule what you're trying to post, have a look at it on a grid so you can see how it looks and feels in terms of what you want people to see, if there's a theme that you want people to use. There's some really easy tools out there. The other thing is to post regularly. And I think, I've already seen, having done some research for today's presentation, that there are a lot of people out there that have just stopped. That because the salon or the spa or is shut, people aren't interacting with their customers or trying to find potential new customers, which is crazy because people are at home looking, and our hair's growing and we're getting more disheveled by the day, and we're looking forward to being able to go out there and get pampered when all of this is over. So people are looking for inspiration, they're looking for ideas on how they can kind of reinvent themselves when they come out the other end. So continue to post. Think about what it is that you want to post. Now is the time for you to say, this is what I want to stand for, and I'm going to make sure that all of my posts and my content represents that. Think top tips, think celebrity inspiration. Before and afters have always worked when it comes to Instagram for salons, especially. And given that it's harder to do, now is the time to look at kind of inspiring posts and tips and things that people can do from home. Insta stories, which I think everyone's talking about now. The reality is people are consuming Insta stories at a much faster rate than they are your posts on your grid. So it's essential that you're using Insta stories every single day. So we suggest a minimum of 4 Insta stories every single day. Now this can be, the joy of this is that it can be rough around the edges. It can really be about things that you're doing at home, things that are inspiring you, things that you've seen, funny things that you might be doing to pass the time. As long as you can make it refer back to the brand and even to the brand personality, then that's great. So take advantage of that. Again, things like Planoly are great. They've got really good Insta story templates that you can use, so you can start building a consistent theme. If you want to have your Instagram be around a certain color or a certain texture, you can do that using Planoly. You don't need to have an in-house design person to create really lovely content. And the other thing is highlights. So highlights buttons that you'll see kind of underneath the bio. Now is the time to spend a little bit of time. It can be a bit difficult and time consuming to sit there and get all of your content, put it into highlights. But the truth is, this just makes it really easy for customers to consume certain things. So it might be that you want celebrity inspiration highlight, and you can put all of your great celeb inspo posts in there. You want before and afters. It just makes it really easy to create bite-sized content that people can go back to. And through your posts and through your stories, you can drive people to those highlights. So it's giving them more content for them to consume in easy, digestible ways, which is what people are looking for right now. And the other key thing with Instagram right now is collaborate. We're all in this together. And I think it's about finding like-minded brands that you can collaborate with, share each other's Insta stories, your inspirations, do a partnership competitions. Think about how you can work with other brands that you admire, whether they're in the same business as you or in other complementary businesses. How can you collaborate to work off each other's followers, to give followers more content and also to help you drive more followers to your page? So that's Instagram for now. So building your personal brand. So this is something that I think has really come out of the pandemic that we're in at the moment. The truth is that we are all craving human contact. And even through the work that we do in kind of PR, traditional PR, we're finding that you can't just place a product anymore on a page. People want to know the story. People want to know the backstory. What is that brand doing to help during these times? What does that brand stand for during these COVID-19 times? So I think it's really important for you to think about your brand as a whole, but also you as the founder, CEO, manager, whatever you might be. How are you part of that business, and how can your own personal brand help drive your business forward? So I think, investing in your own brand at this time now is important. Have a look at your biography. Is it up to date? Does it really talk about what it is, who you are as a person and what you're passionate about, and how that passion comes back into the business that you own or work for. This is the time to position yourself as a font of knowledge in whatever area you are specialist in, so that people really learn to trust you and respect your opinion. Share this knowledge and information that you have probably stored in your brain and have had for years on your social platforms with consumers, and really think about what are you doing during these times to support, and not even big communities, but just individual people. You know, it might be that you're going out there and hand delivering shampoos to people that are in desperate need of their favorite shampoo, whatever it might be. Those are the stories that people want to hear about now. Is there a particular area that you're feeling really passionate about, that you're just talking to your family about all the time? Put it on paper. How does that relate back to your brand and what it is that you're trying to sell? So I mean, I know I'm literally following Maria Dowling, so this is probably a good one to put in. But if you look at Maria, for example, she's been here a long time. She's a real trusted source. She's invested in PR on the long term, and she's also invested in her community. She does the hair of a lot of kind of beauty editors, a lot of influencers, and she is really considered a very trustful member of the community. And so it's taken time to do that, but it's about building that trust as a person. People want to see individuals. They want to see your face. They want to see what you stand for. And it's all about that human connectivity that people are looking for. And also, you know, a person that I feel really passionate about, Dr. Lana, she's amazing. She's, you know, she's not been in this market that long, but she's used her social media platforms to really talk openly and honestly about skincare. She's not one of those doctors that says, yes, you know, everyone needs fillers, everyone needs this. She's very honest and open about skincare. She has used her social to share a lot of the procedures that she's doing, a lot of the cosmetic procedures that she's doing live on Instagram. And again, that builds trust for people because they can see it. It's transparent, it's honest, and it's open. And we've got all of these channels at our disposal now. Now is the time to show your personality and show who you are as a leader of a brand. And then also Kelly Lundberg, I think, is a really great example. She, you know, started off as cabin crew, then she has become a really prominent stylist, and she's recently sold her styling business and is focusing on brand, you know, really focusing on your own brand, because she was a really early adopter of video content and creating tips and tricks on video for people to consume in really easy bite-sized ways. And she has become a font of knowledge when it comes to fashion and brand building. So I think look at the tools that you have at your disposal. Now is not the time to be shy. Now is the time to put yourself out there and really have a point of view. Kind of in relation to that, another tip for now is to really spend some time on LinkedIn. I think for a long time, LinkedIn was considered, it was a business tool, then it became a little bit of a recruitment tool, and people felt like they were just getting a lot of CVs from irrelevant people, and so they stopped using it. But it's become such a powerful tool across the globe, and it's very underused here. And it's a great place for you to, again, share your opinion on things, become a thought leader. Become someone that has something important to say in relation to your business and the category that you're in. It all comes back to the fact that content is king. And right now, during these times, people want content. They want to be informed. They want to learn. They are open to you and what you want to say. So capitalize on that. Really think about how your brand messaging that we talked about earlier in the presentation, how that can be brought full circle to you in terms of your personal brand, and how you can connect those two things, and use LinkedIn as a way of sharing your thoughts, your interests, create interesting content. It might be that you want to focus on a new trend that you're seeing coming through that no one else has really talked about. Whatever it might be, there's so much ability to create content now, and so many different platforms, and LinkedIn is one of those ones that we really do recommend that you get used to using. So first of all, just have a look on LinkedIn, have a look at your bio. Is it up to date? You can customize your page so it looks nice, so it represents your brand, and start creating content. So at the moment, there are 3 ways that you can upload content on LinkedIn. There's video, there's imagery, and there's thought leadership. So I think thought leadership is the most powerful because it's one of the kind of the best tools to be able to create more longer form content, but you can always repurpose what you've been using on Instagram and other channels as well. This is quite an interesting infographic that I came across. It has been done by LinkedIn, so maybe, you know, slightly biased, but when you look at some of these numbers, 93% of B2B marketers consider LinkedIn to be the most effective for lead generation. So when it comes to new customers, suppliers, lead gen things, this is great. The reality is Instagram is not great for lead generation. It's good for brand building and engagement, but it's not great for lead generation. So really think about LinkedIn as a tool. I think also another really interesting one here is something about sales. So 50% of LinkedIn members report they're more likely to buy from a company that they engage with on LinkedIn. That's massive. So I think, you know, spend some time with it, explore the tool, see what you can do with it, and really, you know, coming back to the personal brand, have a point of view, think about what you want your business to stand for, and therefore what you want to stand for, or vice versa, and make those two things work together. So the hope is that all of this will be over sooner rather than later, and we will return to a new normal, whatever that might be. So within a lot of my WhatsApp groups, there's a lot of memes going around about how we'll all be desperate to get back to the salons when these things are over. And the truth is, yeah, that we will be vying for share of customers when the restrictions are lifted. People are going to, yeah, okay, we're going to be dealing with less disposable income, but I honestly don't believe that means that people aren't going to get their hair done, that people aren't going to have a manicure or a pedicure. It might not happen as frequently, but it's certainly going to happen. So you need to be prepared for what that means and how you can make sure that you are getting your fair share of customers through the door through using marketing and PR. So providing value is going to be a big thing. As we said, people are going to have less income. We have always been in a value-driven market, but more so than ever before, I think we're going to see that need for value. And the truth is, value doesn't necessarily mean giving something away for free. There are lots of great ways that you can provide value that really show customers, potential customers and existing customers, that you're there for them, that you have their needs in mind, that you are someone to be trusted and respected. So here's a few things that we've done in the past with some of our salon clients, either when they've been having a difficult time and they've got specific things that they want to push, or just in general to build brand awareness. So a really nice one, I think, especially in these times, is a bring a friend campaign. So we know everyone is missing their family, everyone's missing their friends. So why not do a special bring a friend day, one day in a month, where you get a special offer for bringing your friend with you, and you get one treatment for free or 50% off the whole bill. Not only does it show that you want to celebrate friendships, but it also is going to bring more people into the business, from a customer point of view. Another thing that always works really well is creating special days. So this often works when you maybe have a day that you know is always quieter, where you kind of say, right, on this specific day of the month, it's going to be Mum's Monday, or it's going to be Teenagers Tuesday, or Madness Sunday, whatever it might be. But create a special day that you can own and you can talk about on your social channels, and you can really create a campaign around it to get people to come. So we've done things like special brow days, where just for that one day it's 50% off your eyebrows, or we've done things around kind of waxing, so get one thing waxed, get another one free only on this one day. So make it special, make it so people don't want to miss it, because it's something that only they can avail for a certain time, and kind of helps you stand out from the competition. The other thing to remember is free doesn't always mean bad. Sometimes free is just a great way of building brand awareness. So where you can think about doing something for free, it really can drive really good brand awareness and create that halo effect for you as well on social, with lots of people talking about you. We did something recently which was free browse, and we posted it on the company's social and on our social, and within an hour we had 30 bookings. Every booking came in, so you're getting people through the door, and sometimes where you can, offering something for free that is a service that you know people are going to be drawn to, can actually provide a lot of return in the future. Influencers. So love them, hate them. They are sometimes a bone of contention, but they're also sometimes our best friends as well. And they are really important in this market. You know, some companies are spending up to 60% of their marketing budgets on influencers. And the reality is, in the UAE, we are even further ahead in terms of our influencer ecosystem. I think the reality is people sometimes get scared by influencers and they think, well, how will I know what my return on working with an influencer is? Do I need to work with an influencer that's got a million followers in order to see some kind of success? And the truth is, no, you don't. We believe very much at TishTash that when it comes to influencers, the micro influencers, the smaller influencers, can be just as powerful, if not more powerful, especially in a business like a salon or a spa, where you need people that are kind of in this market now, that have got followers that are in this market right now. So influencers do work, you get it right, and they really do work. So I think the important thing to take away for today is now is the time to start looking at those influencers. While we're here waiting to reopen, waiting for things to kickstart, we need to be looking at how we can work with influencers. So what I would say is spend some time on social, look at who your customers are following, look at who your friends are following. Have a look at profiles. Who do you think really fits with the message that you're trying to put across for your brand? And maybe sit and identify a list of 10. So we normally say influencers around, between 2,000 and 10,000 is a good number for micro. We're also big advocates actually of even smaller than that. And TishTash, we've started something called the TishTash 500 Club, which is the concept that actually you might have 500 followers, but those followers really listen to you because they're your real friends and they're people that actually listen to your recommendations and will action those things. So there is an argument for that as well, but maybe start looking at kind of, between 2,000 and 10,000 followers, identify a list of those that you think really kind of fit your target and your brand. Create a general pitch email that either goes to their, if you have email addresses, great, or goes to their Instagram. What I've learned kind of working with influencers is it's really important to respect that they are business people as well. So when you're contacting influencers, treat them as if they are business professionals, as if you're talking to another business professional, because that is what they are. So, put together a real professional email that talks about you as a brand, and if they would be keen to work with you for X reason, because you really like their feed, or because you believe that you have a service that they like to use. If you hear from them, start a conversation. Try and just build that relationship now, so that you're in a really great position a month from now, 2 months from now. Get an understanding of what is it that they like to get from a salon or a spa. What are their favorite services to receive? I think sometimes, if you just gift an influencer and they do, a standard post for you, that can work really well depending on the brand. But if you really understand who that influencer is, that they like a specific facial, that they are struggling to find a good hairdresser that does dark hair, or whatever that might be, you can really understand the areas that will bring a difference to their life. They're going to give you more content, and they're going to recommend you more. So it's really about creating that relationship and understanding them. If you do have things that you can do with them now to start that relationship, then great. If you've got some product that you're looking to focus on, then you could start gifting them that. But if not, just spend the time getting to know them, getting to understand their tastes, and really build that relationship. Once you feel like they would be someone you want to work with and they want to work with you, then try and get an agreement in place sooner rather than later. When I say agreement, I don't mean monetary. We don't believe that you should be paying influencers when you are giving them specific services. But what I mean by agreement is something that is in writing, that they are going to come to the salon to try something, that they will share a code with their followers, that they will give you a couple of stories, post. But again, it's really about getting them to create authentic content on your behalf, so that you can share that and it feels real and it feels like they're really enjoying being part of what it is that you offer. So yeah, think about influencers now and start those conversations with them and really start to build positive relationships. And my last point, I guess, is database. Now, we at TishTash have been spending the last 2-ish years really building our database. And it's been amazing how open people are to signing up to databases, to getting really good offers and information. But you would be surprised at how many businesses do not hold on to data and do not even have a real database, which in this day and age is crazy. You know, information, data is so important to be able to serve people content that is relevant to them, offers that are relevant to them. So if you don't have a database right now, think about starting one. And if you already have one, think about how you can build that database. So a great way of doing that is by doing shout outs on your social media. You can incentivize people, you know, sign up for the database and get 10% off your next treatment, or whatever it might be. If you've started building some influencer relationships, why not get them to work with you to kind of create some user-generated content? Maybe they can become guest bloggers and they can do tips and tricks for your newsletters or for your Instagram TV. And think about repurposing the content that we've talked about earlier. So whatever you might be thinking about discussing on LinkedIn or whatever you're driving on Instagram, how can you repurpose that content to serve people really interesting information about the industry, about things that are going on in your market? Because the truth is, right now people just want to consume information. So now is the time to get your database together. Think about how you can serve them things that are relevant, fun, interesting, that are still keeping within your brand message, and also help you get new customers by sharing this information to your databases. So that's the tips for now. So just kind of in summary, be proactive now. Don't wait until things reopen to kind of get your marketing plan in action. Think about it right now. Get your marketing plan out of the drawer or off your laptop, wherever it is right now, and have a look at it and see, what do you think is going to be impacted on that plan, given the situation that we're in right now? Do you have a clear brand message? Is it something that you feel like could be stronger now, or something that you haven't been able to give time to in the past? Really make yourself stand out, make sure your USPs are at the forefront of what it is that you're trying to sell to people. I think the most important point that's come out of this is content is king. This is the time to create content and use it across platforms to really position yourself in a strong way that's going to make people trust you and see you as a credible brand to be part of. People by people. So again, we talked about LinkedIn, but we also talked about personal branding. Now is the time to not be shy. Put yourself out there, have a point of view, share your thoughts on the industry or on current trends, whatever it might be, and really just help your brand by using your own personality to kind of help build the brand. Social channels, Instagram, but LinkedIn is really important as well. Think about what offers that you can put in place when all of this is over, something that's maybe a little bit different, that goes beyond your kind of standard 2-for-1 type of offer. The truth is, we don't know what COVID-19 is going to do to people's consumer habits. The reality is things are probably going to change. So keep an eye out for what those changes might be. Keep an eye out for trends that you're seeing in the market of how people's habits might be changing. Think about your relationships with influencers now, and also look at the different tools that are at your disposal from a marketing and PR perspective. There's some really great free tools or very cheap tools that you can use to help you with some of these marketing and PR ideas. And I think really importantly, just be authentic. Right now is the time to give people content, whatever that content might be, but don't worry about it being polished and perfect. Now is the time to just share, be honest, be real, and in turn, credibility and trust will come. I think that's it from me. Thanks everyone. Hope you found that interesting.
Fantastic presentation and loads of information, my gosh. So thank you, Polly. We have some questions. Okay, let's go to the chat. So Sarah just wanted you to confirm the names of the Insta tools, Canva and was it Planoly?
Planoly, yes. So Planoly, yes.
Perfect. Nitu has said how to post creative content on LinkedIn. It seems to be a bit more of a corporate edge. Do you have any tips on how to be creative on LinkedIn?
I think you can be as creative as you want to be. I mean, I do think that I see it more as a space to be creative in terms of the information that you're sharing and the point of view that you might have. And I do think from a thought leadership point of view, that is its strength. You can post imagery and things like that, but I think it's a tool where you're able to have an opinion, whatever that opinion might be, and that opinion can be creative and it can be outside of the box, but it's more a platform to share your thinking and your thoughts. I think that's the power of it anyway.
Okay, fabulous. Emily Tucker says, do you think the amount of followers is important? All our followers are organic, but our number has not budged recently, even after doing competitions and being active on social.
So I think a really important point when it comes to competitions is that you will probably see an increase and then you will lose some followers, because there are people out there that only follow pages so that they can win competitions. And that's, you know, a competition is great because it builds that immediate brand awareness. But I wouldn't worry about the numbers so much. Engagement is really what you need to be looking at. How engaged are the people that you are posting? If you post something, how many comments do you have after that? How many direct messages do you get? Are people asking you questions? Are they seeing you as being someone that they respect, that they want to ask you something, or they want to know the price of something? That's much more important than the number of followers.
Okay, and I guess a question from that. How could you grow, what tips do you have on growing a social platform, but without having to spend any money?
The truth is, in the way Instagram now works, is that's basically impossible. Collaborating with other brands is a really great way. So, you know, sharing content about you on their pages so that you might get followers from their page onto your page. But the truth now is, if you're not spending anything on Instagram or Facebook, people might not even see your content. You might not be getting in front of any new customers or clients. Even if you have a tiny amount of money, I would think about boosting a couple of your best performing posts with a call to action on them, even if it's a couple of $100 dirham, and just do a little bit of a test and see if you do get anything back. But the way that Instagram is working, they've cottoned on to the fact that you're a business and ultimately you want to drive sales, and they're not going to let you do that for free. So you do need to spend now, unfortunately. But again, it's not about massive amount of money, and you can do it yourself. You don't necessarily need to work with an agency if you just want to test a little bit and see. But I think when it comes to paid media, the truth is you're not going to see massive success straight away. You do need to kind of test and learn a little bit. But it's very easy to do now. It's very easy to go into Instagram and promote a post from your phone. So it's very simple to just give it a go, is all I would say. And there's a lot of resources online as well for how to do that.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, question from Maria Dowling. What was the LinkedIn place to post? You mentioned there was a place better for them to post.
Did I? I think I was talking about, I don't know if this is answering it, but there are 3 different ways of posting on LinkedIn at the moment. Is that what she's asking? She said,
yeah, first thought something. Okay. We'll wait for Maria just to type what she means, okay, and we'll move on. TikTok, what's your view on TikTok? Can brands use that as a platform to get exposure, or is it more of a consumer channel for friends having fun?
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely seeing TikTok is massively on the rise, and we're seeing more and more of kind of, I think when it started, everyone thought it was for the young and not necessarily for those people with spending power. I have yet to be convinced by it as a brand platform for promoting your content. I think it can be a really fun way another way of creating content for your platforms to be engaging and to be fun and to provide a different angle. But as a platform to use as a brand tool, I have yet to see it work. So I personally wouldn't invest in it yet. Certainly, do some TikTok videos and post them on your channels for fun, to show the kind of like backstage, behind the scenes nature of your brand. But I wouldn't, at the moment, I haven't seen enough evidence to use it as a brand tool, as a platform, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. So Maria said there's a place for more, you mentioned that there was a place on LinkedIn for creative people to post.
So mainly what I was talking about was being able to update your LinkedIn page so that it looks as creative as possible. So you can update your headers and things like that, so that the personal page looks and feels like a brand page, if that's what you want to do. So putting your brand logo in, putting brand colors in, and things like that, so that it feels. I've got a one pager on how you do that, and I can send it to Maria, or I can send it here. Or to you, Emma, if you want it. But it's basically just how to make that page feel more like it's in line with your brand.
Okay, fab. Yeah, anything that you have, do send it my way, and I can send it on to those who've attended today, including your presentation. Some people have asked if there is somewhere that they can watch this afterwards. Yes, we are recording live, and it will be uploaded to Facebook afterwards, so you can share this content and watch it time and time again. So another question from Galina Spearling, who is watching us on Facebook. Hi, Galina. What value do influencers bring to a beauty and hair salon, in your opinion?
I think, I've seen some really good examples of it working recently, and I think it's all about, influencers love to show themselves, and they love to show what they look like and the things that they, what their hair looks like, what their eyes look like. I think the value comes from an influencer really feeling connected to your brand, and if they honestly think that they love the hair that you guys have done, or they love the eyelash extensions, they will talk about it, and they will talk about it again and again and again. I have a friend that's an influencer that does work with a particular salon in JLT, and she has a code that she gets given. So she has a certain amount of value that she can spend in the salon every month, and she has a code that she shares with her followers, and that code brings in 15,000-20,000 dirham a month, and all they're doing is giving 500 dirham worth of services a month, or maybe 1,000 dirham of services. So if you get it right, the return can be, the return can be great. I think the key is finding influencers that are relatable, that are happy to talk about the fact that before their hair was done by X, it looked rubbish, but now it looks great. You need people that are happy to be authentic and real about how the salon or spa has improved how they feel or how they look, or whatever that might be. But it's finding that authenticity with the influencer, I think.
Okay, can you give a good example? I guess you have. Do you have any other examples of where salons, in your experience, have used influencers and they've got a return on investment?
Yeah.
On that.
So we work with a kind of well-known kind of hair salon for a while, quite high end. And what we put in place for them was a brand ambassador program, which ran for 3 months at a time. I think it ran for kind of over a year, but in 3-month blocks. And the key here was to find brand ambassadors that people really related to. So they would go into the salon once a month, or maybe more, for cut, color, whatever it might be. They would talk about their experience on Instagram, Facebook, whatever channels they had, and they would have a specific code that their followers could use to call up. So how that worked is by using 3 or 4 influencers over a longer period allows you to actually have a look and see who's actually working for you. You can see, okay, this code was used 10 times, this code was only used once, and then you can optimize based on that information. You know, we had one particular influencer that did amazing for us. I think 50,000 dirham a month she was helping bring in, but then we had another influencer that brought in nothing. And so, you know, within 3 months, you can very clearly see that there's a, you know, there is quite a chasm between one influencer and another. And it is trial and error. I think what I would say about influencers is don't be disheartened. That we get so many clients that are like, oh, I worked with influencers, but it just didn't work. It's, you know, I never want to work with an influencer again. And there are always going to be those kind of experiences. But when you get it right and you spend time trying to find those influencers that are the right fit for your business, it can do amazing things. But that's the key, is finding people that don't look at their followers, look at how people are engaging with them. Don't say, I want someone, an influencer that's got 1 million followers. Why? Most of those followers are going to be based somewhere completely irrelevant to your business. What you need is people that are engaged, that are based here, that are talking positively about brands, that are happy to talk about their appearance, all of those kind of things.
Right, I think we have time for one more question. What tools do you suggest are best to monitor engagement?
I don't know if I'm the right person to answer that. I have a digital specialist that answers these things for me.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, if anyone's using Plannerly, it's actually a really great tool, and it shows you engagement as well. If you're looking at engagement for your own purpose, just within the Instagram platform on your phone, you can very easily see engagement rates on there, just going through the kind of explore part. And I've got something on that as well I can send you, in terms of how to look at the insights on your phone, and they're pretty accurate. If you want engagement because you want to look at it from an influencer point of view, truthfully the best thing is to have a conversation and ask them and get them to share information with you. And influencers that really want to work with you will share that. You can't force people to, obviously, if they don't want to share their data, but you know, if they're real influencers and they have real following, you will be able to get that information from them, and they'll be happy to share it.
Okay, perfect. Brilliant. Thank you, Polly. That was a great presentation. And anyone who has any questions, please reach out to me and I can connect you with Polly. And yes, thanks for your time. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day and your week, and hopefully see you very, very soon.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks.
Thank you, Polly. Bye, everyone.